I don't know. That sort of debunks what you said. Whatever. You know what? Just make sure you're getting your pussy eat good.
Yep. And your butt.
Welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Eat.
Welcome back.
It's just us today.
Oh, it's just us today.
I was like, I'm so excited for today. You're like, bitch, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah. I'm so excited for today. It's 5 o'clock.
I got here 2.5 hours ago.
We had a lot of catching up to do.
We did have to talk a lot of shit.
Wow. How do we have stuff to talk about after all this time?
All these years. You know,
it's a sign of being a soulmate.
Our 3-year anniversary is coming up.
Oh my God.
We are soulmates.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp Therapy Online. For 10% off your first month, go to betterhelp.com/GGE. So we all carry around different stressors, big and small, throughout life. And when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us really negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and figure out how to work through whatever is weighing you down. And sometimes we can have journals and self-talk and friends and family that help us, but it is really, really helpful to talk to a therapist outside of that, and they can empower you to be a better version of yourself and set boundaries and work through whatever is going on with you personally, professionally, in your love life, with friends. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. So you'll just fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime at no additional charge. I absolutely love what they're doing, and they make it so simple. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/GGE today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GGE.
Let me tell you about Stephanie. Stephanie is, if you guys are not up to date,
she outdoes us once again. I'll just wait till we get to it.
Stephanie's engaged to Matt, Ashley's brother. And she outdoes me in every sense, everything. She got engaged better than I did. She cooks better. She cleans better. She just whipped up a gluten-free dessert for Louisa one night.
It's insane. She bakes without a recipe. What the fuck?
It's without gluten.
That's not a thing. You don't bake without a recipe.
And let me tell you, I hate lime flavored desserts. They're disgusting. I hate key lime pie. She made a gluten-free key lime pie for one person, even though there was 8 of us. It was the best dessert I've ever had.
It was the best. Oh, it was the best because later that night, you were digging your hands into that.
Louisa was.
Oh, it was Louisa?
She was sucking it out of the bag. She was high.
Oh, it wasn't you. Okay, sorry.
No.
Well, you like to just tip a bag of Chex Mix back into your face.
I like to drink it.
It's a quirk.
How is this just coming up now?
Would you do that with a new guy? Like if you were on your first road trip with a guy, okay, like you've been dating, I don't know. I took a road trip with a guy like 5 weeks in. We were super into each other. Let's just say that's your story. You're on this road trip. You're really into this guy. And you guys stop and get snacks and you get Chex Mix. And instead of, reaching your hand in delicately, pulling out you tip the bag back. And would you do that?
By the way, guys, what she's referring to is that every bite I take, it's not just the last bite. It's every bite.
Yes, you're not just pouring the remaining crumbs into your mouth. You full brand new bag.
I do it with goldfish crackers too. I drink the goldfish crackers. So I'm glad you brought this up.
Something else to watch. Like
I can't believe we're doing this.
Oh my God.
So here's the thing. I was thinking about this the other day because I have a friend of mine who's been with her significant other for like a decade, and she is away from him for a couple weeks. She was talking about this like gross meal she ate alone, naked in her bed in the morning. She's like, I would never do this with my significant other around me. And I was like, I started thinking about it. Like I haven't been in a serious relationship where like I was with somebody consistently for so many years, and like I think I'm too far gone. Like I think the stuff that I do that's so gross that you could only do alone, like I don't know how I'd reel it back in at this point. Like it's so far out of the cage. Like, yeah, I drink my snacks. I'm constantly like scratching things and smelling things, and like I love to pick scabs, and like I watch the most embarrassing stuff. I eat the most disgusting stuff. I think I'm too far gone to have a boyfriend.
I am around you a lot, and I don't think you're disgusting. First of all, you never smell. Well, sometimes your breath does, but your body.
One time on a saying one time it smelled.
It's been more than one. That one day we did those interviews. Anyway. But your body doesn't smell. Like you really you don't smell. Like you don't look like gross.
I know, but I reel it in around you. Like you're not in
sometimes your food habits have me like, what?
Yeah, you're not in the hotel with me when I order 2 entrees every time I order room service. And it's so bad I have to turn on the shower and pretend there's another person there.
I mean, the right person's going to love that about you.
Yeah, what if I don't think he exists.
He's out there.
So my point is, I think I'm too far gone to be in a relationship. Well, it's over. Yeah. So to answer your original question, no, I would not probably ever 10 years in do that
with a guy. Okay. So I'm just lucky.
Cheddar cheese Chex Mix. It's my favorite road snack. No, I feel like, I would never, I've never gotten to the point of the significant other where I would like shit with the door open or pee with the door open. Yeah. I find it akin to peeing with the door open.
Okay. So you wouldn't?
No, I probably wouldn't.
We answered that.
Keeping the magic alive. Would you?
I don't do that kind of stuff. But no, my food quirk, I guess, is just the pinchers. Like I really love to eat with my fingers and my hands. You know that.
Yeah, but I do too. I don't know. I just
love to pick. Like if anything I can eat with my hands, I do. It's not gross, but it's like I definitely don't try to hide it.
I don't either. If I want,
I'm coming in.
I've never noticed this about
the pinchers.
You.
Yeah,
maybe because I have worse habits than you. Because like people bring over share plates, and I'm like, that won't be necessary. And I will eat off of shared dish with a total stranger on a first date.
Well, we'll talk about my date. We got nachos. We shared them. We'll get to it. I have such a funny date story.
Okay, before we do the date story, we have the biggest announcement of all time of our whole careers, maybe ever.
We're going on tour. Sorry. Sorta.
The Since March tour.
The Since March tour. We have a total of 3 cities, all in Ohio, coming in hot. Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland.
We didn't pick New York. We picked Cleveland and Cincinnati because that's the only place this is legal to do this. No, we're just kidding.
We are working on a date that New Yorkers can come to. We're trying our hardest. Stay tuned. But what we have for you right now, because we want to get these on the calendar, you guys can get tickets, is Monday, September 28th in Cincinnati at the Funny Bone. Tuesday, September 29th, 2 shows in Columbus at the Funny Bone, and September 30th and October 1st, Wednesday and Thursday at Hilarities in Cleveland.
Yeah.
We've never been to Cincinnati.
We've never done it.
We neglected you guys last time. We're coming back. You know I fucking love Ohio.
No, guys. Ashley was in the Pittsburgh airport with an Ohio sweatshirt on. She'd only been to Ohio once. No one reps Ohio harder than Ashley.
And Dave Chappelle. Me and Dave.
You know what's really funny?
Keeping comedy alive in Ohio.
You and Dave are really you're pulling it for the whole crew. It's really like Pittsburgh and Cleveland are like big rival cities.
It's so funny to have like a rival, like a city that are rivals.
Well, it's like, because they're in the same football conference. Yeah. So they're big rival cities and they're very similar cities. And so I'm just like doing our first show in Cleveland and not Pittsburgh, which is very funny. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through these shows. I'm going to cry. Of course, everything's going to be socially distanced and we're working with the venues to make sure everything's safe, make sure you guys feel safe and that everybody that works there feels safe. So yeah, that should go without saying. But of course, we're doing everything we can to make sure everybody's safe.
You know, I got to tell you, we got a tweet from somebody, this is a couple weeks ago, that said, can you guys please come to Cleveland? And I was like, all right. So I didn't know. And I responded and tagged Hilarities and was like, we love Cleveland. We will come as soon as we can. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's hard to know what's open, who's doing shows. Like everything changes day by day. But then when we heard Jared Freed was going to Hilarities, we were like, if you're going to Cleveland, we're going to Cleveland. And we literally texted our agent and was like, get us a Cleveland date.
I just do whatever Jared does because as Ashley told him, he's my favorite person.
Yeah.
And we know tons of people that have from this show that have been on tour. So like Nikki and Chris Stefano and Andrew Scholes and tons of people. So we know people that have done it. We weren't the guinea pigs for this.
Yeah.
We let other people be the guinea pigs. Now we're going to try it.
And if you don't feel safe, don't come. We understand. Live your truth. But like, it's going to be distance. We literally, when we get the paperwork about our show, there's like this long laundry list of how, with everything they're doing to stay safe and stuff like that. So if you feel safe and you want to come out, please do. Everything will be on our website, girlsgotteatpodcast.com. Click on live shows, tour dates, whatever, you'll see it. And that's right now, but like we are working to get more.
Yep. We will do this as long as it's safe and legal and we feel comfortable, and no meet and greets, unfortunately, but the shows will be great. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be funny and hear you guys laugh.
Oh my God. I cannot wait. Laugh extra loud because it's only gonna be like half capacity. So you'd be laughing for two.
For two people. Yes.
Eat for two, drink for two, laugh for two. But drink responsibly. Eat chicken tenders for two.
Those
fries at Hilarities.
What fries at Hilarities?
I remember that like little tiny green room we got the fries like right before we went on stage. They're fucking fire.
They also made me a salad on my way out that day when I went to do the sound check. I love Hilarities.
I know. And I'm excited for we love a Funny Bone. We performed at the Columbus Funny Bone last year and that was so much fun. So we're excited to come back there and just get back out there and hit all these cities. We're so excited.
We can't wait. We can't wait to get more stuff on the books and to be funny with you guys and hear your slutty stories.
Yes.
Okay. An update on our merchandise. You guys know we have like a ton of really cool new stuff. We are working with a new company. So shipping times are a little bit longer than we expected. So give us about 6 weeks on your merch for now.
Just for now. Yeah.
Just for now. While we do all the new stuff and work out the kinks. But it's beautiful. It's cool. It's fun. Check it out. Buy it. We're going to have new cool stuff for you guys for the fall soon. But just have patience with us. And if you're wondering where your stuff is, shoot us an email and our support team will get back to you.
Yeah. And again, this is just like everybody's dealing with this, link delay times and everything. So hopefully we'll have it all ironed out, and definitely like we're going to do every single thing we can to make sure you guys know all the deadlines for holidays and stuff like that. So no one gets like blindsided.
Yeah. But we are a small company. Everything is custom. So this isn't Amazon. We're not picking it off the shelves. So we appreciate your patience, guys.
And we love you.
We love you so much. I love y'all.
Every week.
Look, Trish is a part of this podcast.
She's not. I've kicked her out of the family. I'm going to go to court and be emancipated from Trish.
Trish loves Cleveland. I'll tell you what, Trish.
Where's Trish from?
Beaufort, South Carolina. But she has gone to a football game in Cleveland.
Once. She went to a Browns game.
She traveled
with
her ex-boyfriend, Rick. He was a
Rick. Rick definitely wears Browns puffy jackets.
Trish dated a Northerner once. He was from Cleveland.
Oh, you have a whole thing.
I don't know. I'm just coming up with this as I go.
All right, because we're about to get back on stage, I'm working on my glow up. I'm still exercising.
Yes.
It's been 2 weeks and I have never stuck to exercising like this, not once in my whole life. I did 6 days in a row this week. Took 1 day off. I'm back at it. I did 2 days.
Oh, good. You're doing your rest day.
I have not lost a pound. I looked exactly the same as I did. I do know, by the way, that obviously you put on muscle weight. So like I try to not go by the scale because I think that's a silly thing to do, but I look the same. So I'm here to say I will try this for 1 more week and then I'm going to make the call that exercising is a farce.
Oh my God.
It's a sham and this entire industry is a lie and it doesn't do anything for your body. But give me 1 more week.
Okay. I mean, yeah, like I'm here to prove that that's not true, but sure. Do you weigh yourself?
I actually stopped weighing myself about a year ago because it became like a crazy obsession for me every morning. And I would like look at the scale and I would go up like 3 pounds and it would like dictate how I felt about my whole day. And now I just look in the mirror and I'm like, I look the same as I did yesterday. My clothes fit the same. I'm going to feel good. So I stopped doing that. Do you weigh yourself?
Never. I have not had a scale in my home since probably 7 or 8 years. All that matters. Well, first of all that matters is that you feel good and you're happy with your body. But if you are trying to like maintain your weight or whatever, all that matters is like how you feel like you look and how your clothes fit. Like the number just doesn't matter. Like, yeah, there's fat, there's muscle, there's water weight, there's all the things. Like you could be really doing amazing and you could be quote unquote losing weight, gaining muscle, whatever it is, getting smaller. If that's your goal, again, whatever you want, and the number could be higher. It just doesn't fucking matter. So it's like, I feel like I learned that maybe 7 or 8 years back, and I never get on, I get on a scale at the gyno once a year, once every 2 years, like whenever I go. So I don't even know what that number looks like. It's probably been, I think the last time I did go to the gynecologist. So like and every scale is different, like, which is crazy. Like that's a crazy thing. Like where it is on the floor in your apartment, like they're just total bullshit. So if you're on a big weight loss journey, sure. But other than that, like anything in a 5-pound range is just like, can be really misleading to what your body is actually doing, you know?
It doesn't fucking matter. I started working out not because I wanted to lose weight. It's just that everything suddenly just like got really jiggly and cellulite. And I was like, I didn't used to look like this. I don't like this. I don't feel good about myself. I don't want to think about this every day. So I'm going to work out for 1 more week.
Yeah. You just want to like, whatever. It's all about just how you want to feel. Like I have a way I want my body to look and feel good, but I work out and eat right for mental health too.
Mm-hmm. So I'm doing one more thing, mental health wise, inspired by you. That I, for years, used these Instagram filters and Snapchat filters to make myself look better. And it just like wasn't my face. And you, for like 3 years, have been like, stop doing this. And I use this one Snapchat filter and it makes me look so pretty. And I realized I was like, why don't I look like this in real life? And it was like hard on me because I'd look at my Instagram stories and I'd be like, I should be that and I'm not that, and it like bummed me out and made me feel bad, and I've stopped doing it. I've broken the cycle. Inspired by you, you waited me out, but I do feel that now that I'm not using that filter anymore, I feel like a little mentally better about myself. Is that weird?
No, I love that you said that. Yeah, we would like get into it because you would try to do a story of both of us in that filter. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's not my face.
And you said to me for years you don't want to do it, and I just feel like now that I've stopped using that, and I still use like the one filter on Instagram. I'm not like completely
subtle, like it's just all it does is smooth, which is basically the same thing as if you were to get good lighting and throw a Paris on it. It's the same
Paris
thing.
It's Paris. That's all it is. So I'm not out here doing like raw dogging. Okay, let's be clear. I'm Parising it up. Okay, but I do feel that mentally I feel a little better because I'm not looking at this other version of myself and being like, why don't I look like that?
I love this tip.
Thank you.
Yeah, because the scary thing about that filter is it's like it turns your face into like the prettiest version of your face. We all know this filter in Snapchat. So it's like you become reliant on it and then you don't want to do any stories without having a filter on. Because I want to be clear, I am not against filters. I use filters. I love to throw a filter on in a time of need, but I do like it when it's like obvious it's a filter, like there's flowers around your head or it's that retro cam and Instagram. So the ones that like change your face and then you kind of get used to this other version of yourself and then you find yourself like disappointed when it's your actual face is when you have to think about this stuff. So I'm so glad you did.
So you made me do this. You inspired this. And then Jamila's episode inspired me because I was thinking like, let's unfollow some people. Let's have better, healthier social media behavior. This is the final notch. I'm a new person, guys.
Oh my God, I love this.
Thank you.
You seem like you're in a great place.
Thank you. Well, I decided I'm going to work out for 2 weeks and I'm going to date for 6 weeks and the whole city is going to shut down again. I have 6 weeks to get a boyfriend after this, but they just greenlit indoor dining in New York City. Ooh. So
I'm glad because, you know, we have flattened the curve like crazy. We can start to get back into some indoor dining. I was very nervous that like the city was going to be just totally shut down all winter. Yeah. So it'll be nice. Hopefully nothing happens and nothing spikes.
Cuffing season is still greenlit. Okay. You have a story that you have not told me and I'm very excited about.
Okay. This. Yes. This is my date story. I went on a date last week. We talked about it last week. I was getting ready to go on it. So went out with this guy. We met on an app. So, I mean, it's like a stranger. And we were supposed to go get tacos. I just want to say this like one thing, because I kind of like this about what dining looks like right now in New York. Like he wanted to go to Taqueria St. Mark's at 7:30 on a Friday. I'm like, okay, good luck with that. Did you make a reservation? We're definitely not going to get a table. Like that's, Friday evening, like St. Mark's, whatever. Right. So of course I was running late. I always am a little late to dates purposely.
On purpose? How late?
5 minutes.
Oh,
I just don't want to be there first.
Yeah, same.
10. So he texts me, I'm here. There's no tables. Duh. I'm like, let's try Empion. I'm not going to be any tables. So we basically just kind of make the like trek down. We came back down St. Mark's, like if you know New York, so we're kind of walking down St. Mark's. Of course, we checked into Bua, 30-minute wait, whatever. We basically hit like 4 different places walking west on St. Mark's, trying to find a place to eat. And I will say that it didn't bother me. Had it been a normal indoor dining situation outside of a pandemic, I would have been a little probably just anxious in a way because you have to go into a restaurant, see if there's bar seating, hover over somebody, see if there's tables. Like when there's just outdoor, you just see where there's a table. Like you literally just walk by, there's a table. So we just like meandered around the East Village until we like saw places that actually had a table open. Like I find a lot of anxiety in like not having a plan sometimes and like trying to find a place that will have you. And like when everything's just out in the open on the street, you literally just have to be like, there's one, let's see if they'll seat us there. Like it felt like less pressure, less anxiety. I was okay with it. Because normally, and again, that gives you something to talk about. But normally, I don't know, like outside of New York City's outdoor dining pandemic situation, like I might be a little frustrated going to 5 different places to find a place to sit down and have a drink.
Well, with a stranger too, because like you can't really start a conversation. So you just have to all this like surface topical nonsense.
Yeah, you can't, until you sit down and wearing a mask.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. So like think about talking, you're walking and talking. Of course, we're wearing masks, walking down St. Mark's. It's crowded. It still was fine though. I didn't feel like it was awkward, but you're totally right. We couldn't get into like a groove of even having a conversation because we didn't know where we were going to eat. So finally we get to this place. I'm just going to leave the names out because I don't know. We have a big audience and like whatever. I posted on my Instagram story. So if you saw it, then you know where I was. But anyway, ended up at this bar I'd never been to in the East Village. We sit down. They had like a limited menu, probably just serving food so they could serve their drinks. They had like 10 things. This looks fine. Whatever. The drinks looked great. We sit down. This guy's cute. I was into it. I love what he does for a living. Everything's like kind of free flowing, having a good time. And one thing I noticed too, how I feel like I always know somebody's into the date is the way they like order their next drink. If you drink, they're not looking at the watch. Like I knew this guy to work early the next morning. He was still like, second beer. Yeah, I'll have another one. Like it's like an eagerness of like, you can tell that somebody like wants to continue to hang out with you.
Okay.
I think most people, even if it's a bad date, maybe you get 2 drinks, but when I think there's this line between the second and the third drink with how they order it to the server that you can tell if they're into the date or not.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So he was into it. He was ordering beers. I was ordering margaritas, whatever. We had the quirkiest, funniest server. I'm just going to give him a name. I'm just going to call him Jack.
I've always wanted to fuck a Jack.
So Jack is really funny. He is like, let me make you this margarita. And then I want you to tell me if you like the first one, the second one more. Like he was funny. We were like, this is like a funny, fun guy. And if you guys remember, I told a date story and I'll tell you, it was on this February 17th episode about this crazy situation where I was out on a date and this bartender threw hot wax on himself. It was nuts. I feel like this kind of like, okay. Anyway, I was getting vibes from that, like that. Like there's, you know, when you're just like, you have a quirky waitstaff around in your orbit, it's like funny to talk about. We're like, this place is awesome. Like Jack's just hooking us up, you know, whatever. They then one of our listeners like came over. It was really cute. And Jack was like, who are you? Or like, whatever. People like know who you are in this place. It was like really nice. They let me use like a secret bathroom downstairs. Everything was great. So we're about to close out. It's like last call. And Jack walks by and he had like his tray in one hand. And then he had like looked like a perfume bottle. Do you remember your grandmother would have like a perfume bottle that had like a little pump? Like it was like old school looking, like an old
grandma, say no more.
Grandma perfume. Yeah. And my date goes, what's that in your hand? And before I could even know what was happening, Jack had sprayed me in the face with whatever was in that bottle. Sprayed me in the face. And I watched my date like tense up as in like, am I going to have to fight this guy? Like he was fine.
Cause you're a stranger. Like, he's like, what is she going to do?
It's a pandemic. You just sprayed me in the face.
What was it? Are we going to get to this? Okay.
It was rose water, but what?
He just walked over and like, he's a clown. He was like sprayed it in your face.
And I was like, oh my God. And I literally it happened so quick. My face was wet that I was like, what the fuck? And I feel like my date was like, if she is upset, I'm gonna have to step in here and maybe knock this guy out. I'm not sure. And I was like, what, Jack, what was that? And he was like, oh, it's rose water. Like we're on first name basis at this point. And I was like, okay. And I feel like I had to diffuse the situation a little bit because I think my date was kind of like, that's not cool. What are you doing?
That's a crazy thing. Had you even left a tip yet? That's a crazy
So he sprayed me and then I was like, oh, well, rose water, good for your skin, whatever. I just had to like diffuse the situation because I just was like, I don't want
your man to fight him.
Yes.
Also, by the way, if you could spray water into 2 people's faces, you pick the one with makeup on.
Yeah. So he sprayed me in the face. I walk away. I'm like, that was nuts, right? What was that? And he was like, that was crazy. Like, I was like, you know, whatever. we just kind of like leave it at that.
I've never heard of such a thing in my life.
Spray me in the face during COVID-19 pandemic. We leave the tip. We're walking. We got back here. We went up on the roof. He like wanted to still hang out. I was like, for sure. We made out on the street makeout. Haven't had one of those in a minute. It was really great. It was hot.
You know, I masturbate to street makeout.
It was so
like,
hot.
Frequently.
Yeah.
Like I had this guy push me up against the wall and it's like finger me
we were
outside.
like pushed up against the building. I feel like my doorman I feel like they're like looking at me differently ever since.
Listen, I don't care. They can masturbate to it. I might masturbate to it later. I masturbate to that stuff a lot. Okay. Anyways.
So I put on my Instagram story, go to this place. We had a great time. Our server and Jack was so funny. 10/10 recommend the whole scene.
I watched your Instagram story because you were on a date and not with friends.
Yeah. So you saw it. This girl slides into my DMs. She goes, "Oh my God."
What's about to happen?
Jack is my mom's booty call. She said he is 7 years older than me and calls me kid. Like,
how old was he?
I would say he was
ballpark it.
Like mid 30s, like 40 tops.
Oh, okay. It's her mom's booty call.
And she goes, I hate how small the world is right now. Like, she is not a fan, I wouldn't say.
Of Jack.
I would not say she's a fan.
You think he sprays her in the face with the grandma bottle? Where did the grandma bottle come from? I don't understand. Like, where is this thing?
Right, like, are they doing like a little bit of, are they spraying it on a drink as like, because they're a cocktail bar.
That's exactly what it is. You see them on bars all the time.
You see them, he had like, yes. Yeah, it was like a fancy cocktail bar, like whatever. My mom's booty call. I cannot believe it.
Shook.
The guy that sprayed me in the face.
Do you think that guy fucks well?
I don't know. We should ask that girl. We could ask her mom.
ask her mom. We were just curious for the sake of the podcast. Can he fuck?
And this is a solid teaser for today's episode about age gaps, because obviously Jack is like a lot younger than her mom.
Booty call.
And my date was a lot younger than me. But
this is a hysterical situation.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you for reacting. I am speechless at like what I would do on a first date with a total stranger, because you cannot have a normal reaction to that. Like if I'm on like a long-term relationship date and someone sprays me in the face, like I'm probably gonna have a different reaction than I would have when I'm trying to be like easy going. And like,
they'd been so nice to us up until that point, but like that was something else.
That is a crazy story.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so we need to discuss
the end of an era.
Thank you.
My entire feed, I felt like it was like the day of Fire Festival when you started seeing all the orange tiles on your feed. I saw like every person I know being like, including the Kardashians, announcing the end of the Kardashians.
Yeah.
21st season, it's going to air, and then that's it.
20 seasons, 14 years.
I don't know like how your life is if you've grown up on television and you're like, I get to just do stuff and
I bet
no
a relief.
one's going to film it. Do you think it's a relief, or do you think that they're like not going to have to function?
I would assume it's a relief for almost all of them. I mean, in terms of just the way they've grown up. When Courtney said she wasn't filming and all that came out, I thought that was the beginning of the end for sure. So this actually came as zero surprise to me.
Me too. I mean, Kendall and Kylie don't film either. I mean, you see them once in a blue moon on the show. Kim Kardashian, I would assume, is going to try to take care of her husband.
Right.
Who, like, clearly needs some kind of help, you know? So I would assume it's like, also she's 4 children. It's like a little overwhelming to also have this whole other thing. I wasn't all that shocked. I guess I never just thought about it ending. It was just this thing that's always
it would
there,
never end.
like a nice blanket on my couch.
Like it's The Bachelor. It'll never end.
And there's some nice things I took from the show. I mean, I think they like created social media. Like they were at the forefront of Instagram. They created being famous for being famous. I don't know. Kourtney Kardashian, I remember when she got pregnant out of wedlock and was like having a kid. She was the first like mega celebrity I ever saw do that, who like I related to. And I was like, oh, it's like super fine to not be married and have kids. It was, I remember feeling like that because so many years ago, and I just didn't know a lot of celebrities that were like promoting that. And I was like, oh, this is a super normal thing that a lot of people do, and they'll be fine.
I mean, whatever you think about them, I mean, I have definite and mixed feelings. I'm not going to go into it, but like they touched on a ton. Interracial relationships, obviously, addiction, you know, with Lamar and whatnot, transgender identity with Caitlyn, like you said, having kids out of wedlock, and untraditional family structures. I mean, and women in power and women making money. And like, I respect respect a lot of what they do. I have a lot of issues with other things, and relating to like women's looks and the way a woman should look and what they've done for beauty standards is like fuck. But like there's some good that came out of it too.
I remember my father told me that Bruce Jenner was transitioning, and I was like, this is really a part of pop culture. My 70-year-old dad knows this. My only feeling that I wanted to ask you what you have a feeling about, and this is like a little more morbid, but I watched the trailer for the next season, and they're talking about coronavirus and like finding out about coronavirus, and Chloe might be sick, and like shutting the country down. And it was like the first time I like sort of had this moment where I was like, oh yeah, these reality shows filmed during this time. Like some reality shows filmed during like quarantine and like the outbreak of coronavirus. I don't know if and when I'm going to be ready to watch like real-time reality television that was filmed during that time. I think it's like, at least for me, it's going to be too soon for quite a while. I don't know that I'm like
it'll like just make you feel bummed.
Yeah, I think that like I lived through it. You lived through it. We all lived through it. I don't know that I want to like go ahead and relive it just yet. And I started thinking like there are going to be documentary series about this and like all kinds of things like we will have to watch. But like I've watched enough news, so I've been part of the reality. I don't know that I'm like ready to watch it.
Yeah, that resonates with me a little bit. When I did watch that show, which is not a reality show, it's a scripted show, Love in the Time of Corona, which I do recommend on Hulu. And I started it and I was like, felt a little triggered. Like it just like washed over me, like the beginning times with like when it was like, what the fuck is happening and things were shutting down. And that was like such a crazy thing to happen. And I felt a little triggered, and then I just pushed through and I started to like enjoy watching back what was happening during that time. But my immediate reaction was like, maybe I actually don't want to see this. And then I did. So
you'll push through it. I think everybody will go at their own pace, but I don't know that I'm ready for at least a long time to look back on that stuff in reality TV and watch it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Well,
we'll see.
The Kardashians are over. Well, not one more season to keep up. And then they're just going to go live their lives, I guess.
I guess they're just going to be alive. I'm sure they'll be in the news every minute of every day. So, and the kids will have a spinoff show.
Keeping up with the kids. All right, guys. Well, that's your rec for the week. The Kardashians season 21. Can't recommend the show that's been on for 14 years enough.
It'll be on in February, so just pencil it in.
So you guys know that Ashley and I love to travel. We do it all the time, professionally and socially. And it is really, really important to me to have the best luggage possible, both functionally and just the way it looks. And Base is my absolute favorite. I have everything that they do. I have their check-in bags. I have their carry-on. I have their mini weekender. But I just got their newest bag. I am so obsessed. It's the East to West tote. And it is the absolute perfect bag for like a 1 to 3 day trip. And I just took it with me to Santa Barbara. And it was just perfect for like a few dinner outfits, a couple daytime stuff. I had a padded laptop sleeve, a place for a water bottle, zipper pockets, and there's like an extra removable strap. Also, I just think it's really beautiful. I got it in the beige color, but all of Base's stuff comes in lots of colors. It's highly functional. Outside of this bag, which I am crazy about, their luggage has 360-degree gliding wheels, a cushioned handle, which I love when I'm at the airport, built-in weight indicator, and I always say this, I love their washable bags. So a great travel hack is to just have like a laundry bag in your suitcase. They provide that for you too. It's so cute. Everything they do is super durable and beautiful and functional. I just can't say enough about Base. I love them. And right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/GGE. That's BEIS travel.com/GGE.
Okay, thank you to Helix for supporting Girls Gotta Eat. Go to helixsleep.com/GGE, take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. Use code HelixPartner20 and you'll get 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows. You guys know how obsessed we are with Helix. Both of us have multiple Helix mattresses. It's all we sleep on. I have made sure that my parents have one, my brother has one, my boyfriend has one. I just refuse to go anywhere and not sleep on a Helix mattress. That is how obsessed we are. The Helix lineup offers 20 unique mattresses, including the award-winning Luxe Collection, which we love. We have the Luxe Collection mattresses, the newly released Helix Elite Collection, a mattress designed for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. So for everyone in the family, and you're just going to take their quiz, which is really fun, and then they will give you your personalized mattress recommendation. It's going to be shipped straight to your door, free of charge. You can try it out for 100 nights to make sure you love it, and then there's a 10 to 15-year warranty to try out your new Helix mattress. We know everybody sleeps differently. You might sleep on your back, your side, roll around all night on your stomach, or you might want a soft, medium, or firm mattress. We are all so different. So that is why they offer really something for everyone. And so you're just going to order what works best for you, come straight to your door. You can sleep on it that night. You're going to love it. It will change your life. You'll get the best sleep of your life, and you can thank us later. So Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/GGE and use code HelixPartner20. This is their best offer with Helix. Better sleep starts now.
All right, guys. Well, let's talk about you cougars and sugar babies. I'm kidding. I mean, some of you are, but not everybody.
We're going to cover a large range. We're going to talk if you're a woman, you like to date younger, if you have sort of a traditional age gap with your man, maybe like a little bit bigger, but traditional like 10 years, and then big age gaps, like 15, 20-year age gaps. And then you guys submitted some really funny stuff that we'll go over in the end, some ways that you are different than your significant other via age. We did an episode 2.5 years ago called Are Younger Men the Answer?
Yeah. We did it, I think, from
I was in London.
Across the world. The sound is dog shit. So it's probably our worst sounding episode. So anyway, if you powered through it, good for you. But yeah, we talked about, when we started the podcast, I was sleeping with somebody that was 10 years younger than me. And that was the first time that I had really done that. I've dated plenty of guys that were younger, but like 3 years younger, 2 years younger. Like I had a serious relationship with someone that was 3 years younger. No guys that were ever really a lot older, like 1-2 years, and of course guys my same age. But since that guy that I dated that was 10 years younger, I have dated mostly guys that were younger. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about women dating men that are a lot older too. So we're going to get into all of it. Before we do, I did just want to say up top, this is an episode where we're going to share our feelings on things. We want to talk about things candidly and openly, and our opinions are not an attack on your life choices. So just remember that, because like, if I say I don't date older men and it's just because I don't, doesn't mean you should be offended that you prefer that. You know what I mean? Like if you're secure in your life choices, stuff that we say shouldn't bother you. So I just want to get that out of the way, because this is a very personal thing, and people might think it's fucking weird that I date guys that are 10 years younger than me, and I don't fucking care, because I am proud of it and I own it and I'm secure about it.
I don't think that any of these scenarios, I don't feel judgmental about any of them. I think if you're happy, you're happy. And I don't think you feel like that either. I think that both of us are like, do whatever feels healthy and happy.
Yes. That's what I want to say too. Like this is a completely judgment-free zone. We just want to be able to talk about things like candidly. So I'm like, oh my God, I would never fuck a 50-year-old man. I am not judging you for doing it, because you probably think
he's got that money.
Because you probably think it's weird that how, just live your life and be secure in your choices. Because what we feel and what we have opinions on has no bearing on what you do.
Absolutely.
So anyway.
And there's good and bad things to every scenario. So we'll cover all of them. We have lots of experience. You tend to date younger. I have almost no significant serious age gaps. The oldest like serious long-term relationship, he was 5 years older than me, and serious long-term relationship younger than me, 3 years younger. So I've never gone crazy in each way. And we'll talk about like stage of life and how that person's like attitude towards their life and what they see you doing affects the relationship.
Yeah.
I want to start with women that date younger men. And I wrote down some of my favorite cougars to share with you. And some of them are, I didn't even know about this. So Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
I would love to watch them fuck. It's not a crazy age difference. She's 46, he's 39. Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
She is 47, he's 38.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this. And then Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas. She's 10 years older than him.
Oh my gosh. Good one.
So these are three.
I knew Gabrielle Union was older, but I didn't know. That's strong. That's 9 years. That's how I roll.
She looks fly.
She drinks a gallon of water every day.
There's a couple. Never forget to drink your water, ladies. Obviously, singers they like to fuck their backup dancers. So like Britney, J-Lo, and Casper. She was 18 years older than him. Madonna and her boyfriend. She is 61. He is 26.
Okay,
that is a little crazy to me.
I cannot with Madonna.
Okay,
Madonna, just stop.
Go to sleep. But here's one I never knew about. This is a sleeper.
What?
Low-key coog. Katie Couric.
Did you say low-key coog?
I'm dead. She's married to a dude that's 6 years younger than her. Her previous boyfriend, Brooks Perlin, was 17 years younger. And her ex-husband, Jay Monahan, was 15 years younger than her.
Oh my
Katie
gosh.
Couric. I forgot my favorite coup of all of them is Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa.
Oh God, yes.
Damn it, I forgot.
The hottest ones of all.
The hottest ones. And he is the hottest smoke on earth and he worships his wife. I think there's a 10-year age gap. It's pretty significant. I'm not sure what it is.
Martha Stewart said that her ideal man is 10 years younger than her, which same, Martha. But this episode is not going to be all about dating younger, even though that's mainly my experience. We are going to get into dating older. And you have a friend that you can mention that's dates a guy a lot older and you have some great advice. We have a lot of advice and thoughts to give you guys. So it's not going to be all about this like cougar life.
It's cougar life.
Oh wait, I want to talk about aunt and uncle.
Oh, so my favorite cougar couple, my favorite coug couple is my Aunt Sherry, Michael John. She is 10 years older than him. And she had a kid when they first got together. So she knew my dad growing up. They went to high school together. My dad is also 10 years older than his brother. And she told me this funny story. I guess she knew him when he was like a little boy.
Yeah.
And then she went away, went to college, got married, had a kid, whatever. And she goes to I guess her brother was friends with my dad. She goes to my dad's 35th birthday party at my house. And she said that she walked in and she was like, is that little John Greenberg?
Oh my God.
She's like, I hadn't seen him since he was 8.
When did he? Isn't he 8?
I don't want to drop the name of that show because they ghosted us.
You'll figure it out.
But she was like, I had this crazy moment where I walked in and I just thought of him as an 8-year-old. And this was a long time ago. I mean, obviously she's in her 70s. He's not, but they're my favorite couple. I asked them, I interviewed them the other day. I pre-interviewed them and I was like, did people have a lot to say about it? Mm-hmm. Did people think this is weird? He was 24 dating a woman that was 34 with a kid. Did people think that was fucking crazy? Yeah. And I just think that it just depends on what stage of life that you're in and what you want for your future. And yeah, not every 24-year-old wants to step up to the plate and take on somebody 10 years older with a kid. Some do. It just doesn't fucking matter. And
44-year-olds wouldn't have wanted that. You know what I mean? I can't stress that enough that every individual is different and age does not equal maturity.
But okay, so I asked you something because this is later in life. I said to you, do you think it'll matter later in life? So it doesn't matter now. You're 24, they're 34, everybody's young and able-bodied. But, will this bother you later in life? And you had really good feedback on that because some people are yeah, it's fine for now. But what about when she's 75 and you're 65? And I thought you had really good feedback for how this ages.
Well, I mean, let's just assuming that people don't get sick with a chronic terminal illness and you, again, the world we live in, that's not the case. But if you both were to just age and die of natural causes, women have a longer life expectancy. Mm-hmm. So it's in terms of average lifespan of men and women outlive men. So you always see the man, people's, their dads usually die first. Again, this is, assuming age, natural causes, that type of thing. But even just getting things like cancer and stuff, I mean, it's just kind of when you think about it, long-term death, morbid, a woman being a little older can you can live your life a little bit longer together. I don't know.
Yeah, I think women they're both pretty vibrant. They like to do shit. It's just not an issue. It's just not a thing.
I just see women, if you're both kind of pretty healthy, I see women kind of keeping that energy longer than men. Men tend to slow down as they age. So a woman that is 10 years older, when they get into that later stage in life, 60s, 70s, even 50s, then I feel it matches up perfectly.
It's totally
not everybody's different,
but bring it back to our age. I think when you meet somebody, it's just all about stage of life. Am I 10 years older than this person and they're not going to want to have kids for 10 years and I want to have kids? I think kids are a big thing.
Kids are huge,
with your clock and if I'm 35 dating a 25-year-old and they don't want to have kids for 10 years, which is super normal, and I can't wait that long, then yeah, that's an issue. Or if they just have a totally different lifestyle than you. But I have dated people, I guess I did date somebody last year who was 8 years younger than me. So that's a lie. I did date somebody significantly. He did not feel as young to me as my fiance who was 3 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. And I just think it depends on where people are in their lives. My fiance was 3 years younger. It was a problem. I had to be this mentor for him all the time and not in a way that I enjoyed. I didn't feel like this was somebody who I enjoyed being the mentor for, if that makes sense. He just, the 3-year age gap was more significant than this dude I dated last year with an 8-year age gap.
100%. And we see that overwhelmingly. It just doesn't matter if you are in the same stage of life. You like to do the same things. You have the same energy level. we got so many, like so many responses from you guys on an Instagram story slide that we did of like, this 25-year-old I'm dating is so much more mature than the 35-year-old, 40-year-old I've dated in the past. That's not always the case. We got a lot of love from you girls about dating older men too, which I can't relate, but good for you. It's just all about who somebody is and their life experience and the life that they've lived up until a certain point and what they've accomplished and their families and like what they've been through and all those things that kind of make you who you are. And we've said this before, that we see men in their mid 30s, 40, whatever, just running around, acting like little fuckboys, like not wanting to settle down, not wanting to commit, not wanting to get married, not wanting to have kids. We see it all the fucking time. And then there's these 27, 28-year-olds that are like ready to lock you down.
Yep. They know how to behave.
Yeah.
They know how to act.
Not all of them. A ton of them are terrible too, but it just doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but like, it's just so personal. So literally live your truth. Don't let age don't get in your head about it, I guess.
Yeah. I don't want to be in a position where I'm raising a person. Yeah. And that could be any age though. That could be somebody a year younger than me or 10 years younger than me. I'm happy to be a sounding board. And I do expect, as somebody who, for example, that guy who was 8 years younger than me. Yeah. I made more money than him and I was more successful than him. And that's a normal thing for somebody who's that much older, but he didn't need me to like raise him and explain to him like how to do life. And that's not what that's what I want to avoid. So anybody that treats me like that, I'm not going to date.
Yeah. I'm kind of open. I'll date guys that are younger, my age, a little older. I'll date a guy that's 40, 41. Like if he has young energy like that, I just feel like I think you and I both have like a younger energy. Like we live our lives pretty freely. We get pop culture memes. We are millennials. You know, I think generationally is kind of different too. Cause for me, you know, we're in our mid 30s. We are elder millennials, if you want to use the Eliza Schlesinger term. I vibe with a guy that's 27 more than a guy that's 45. Because we're in the same generation and we kind of lived a more similar life technology wise and things like that. Like, yeah, I'm significantly older than them, but it feels like we vibe a little bit more. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. I don't want somebody that feels old, I guess, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think that the generation thing is a huge thing and technology is a big thing. I dated that guy who was last summer, well, my neighbor, whatever. He's almost 10 years older than I am. He feels like of a different generation. He doesn't text me with emojis. He won't do it. He thinks it's ridiculous. He doesn't really use social media. I just have less to talk to him about. I mean, also that's just because of who he is. But I totally agree with you. Somebody 10 years younger than me grew up with the same sort of, I mean, maybe they don't feel like that about me. Because I'm like, what does TikTok do? But I feel like I agree with you. Like are these huge generational shifts in terms of technology. And my mom said that about my dad too. My dad's 5 years older than her. And she was like, when I met your dad, he had like a furnished apartment with an interior decorator and he had like fur coats. When my dad was married to somebody else, she had fur coats. My dad wasn't, my dad's not Jay-Z walking around with a fur coat. But my mom was 5 years younger. And in the 70s, that was pretty significant because my mom was going to like protests and like she was like such a hippie and there was always like women's rights. And my dad was like, what are women's rights? So he felt old to her. And she was like, he felt like really, really old to me, that 5-year gap, because the world changed.
Yeah. And I'm not out here. I don't have any guys that are a decade younger than me, 9-10 years younger than me, that have really worked out long term. So I don't really know. It's about your stage in life too, because I think we all know I don't want children. I'm not so amped up to get married. I'm just really having fun and like living my life. And we were traveling the world and doing that kind of thing. And I don't have to think about that. I'd rather date a guy that's younger than a guy that's like 35 and wants to have a family. That's not going to work for me. Mm-hmm. So it's like stage in life. I think sexual primes match up. I think women are in their sexual prime in their 30s. And I think a younger guy has more stamina. Not to say that guys in their 40s, even 50s don't. Again, these are just some of the reasons why it works out. Mm-hmm. But if they don't feel like a peer and they feel really young and I feel like I'm just so much older, it's not going to work out. You know, like I still want them to be smart, to like surprise me, challenge me in some way. Mm-hmm. But I'm also down to just have like a fuck buddy too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I love gift giving at this time of year, but when finding great gifts, things can really start to add up. And that's why this season I am shopping with Quince. Quince is the go-to place for luxury essentials at affordable prices for everyone on my list, including myself. We'd like to thank Quince for supporting our show. Go to quince.com/GGE to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your order. So I'm really, really glad I found this company and this site. Everything is so affordable, but looks really luxury. So as you're perusing it, they have 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They have washable silk tops and dresses. They have cotton sweaters and all kinds of comfy stuff, like just cozy pants that you can wear. I love the colors. I love the styles, but the prices are really the reason to shop here, on top of obviously the selection. Prices are 50 to 80% less than similar brands. So it's unbelievable. It partners directly with top factories to cut out the cost of the middleman, and it just passes the savings directly on to you from Quince. And I just love what they're doing. I love the styles. There's so much variety, and it is such a one-stop shop, whether you're shopping for kids, you're a significant other, your parents, anybody will really love this. You can get affordable luxury for everyone on your list with Quince. Go to quince.com/GGE to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your order. That's QUINCE.com/GGE for free shipping and 365-day returns. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp Therapy Online. For 10% off your first month, go to betterhelp.com/GGE. So we all carry around different stressors, big and small, throughout life. And when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us really negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and figure out how to work through whatever is weighing you down. And sometimes we can have journals and self-talk and friends and family that help us, but it is really, really helpful to talk to a therapist outside of that, and they can empower you to be a better version of yourself and set boundaries and work through whatever is going on with you personally, professionally, in your love life, with friends. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. So you'll just fill out a brief questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and switch therapists anytime at no additional charge. I absolutely love what they're doing, and they make it so simple. Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/GGE today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GGE.
So it's something really, we talked about this 2.5 years ago, and we might have revisited this, but something I really like about younger guys. Women say to us, you know, are women intimidated, or are men intimidated by my success and the money I make and how successful I am? And I think something about younger guys is like there's less of this power struggle between you and them because you are older. So you've just had more time in the workforce. You have been able to take that time to make more money and be more successful. And so there's not that power struggle between you and your man of like, he thinks he should like make more money than you and be more successful because you just are older. So I think it just like eliminates that whole like realm where you're like competing against each other.
Yeah.
Because you should be more successful and they can be proud of you.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. But I mean, again, I don't know what it looks like a year down the road because I haven't gotten there. So it could start to shift. I don't want to feel like a sugar mama by any stretch, but I'm also like, I don't have problems paying here and there because we both know I make more money. If I do, if that's the case, that has been the case with me in the past. So, but it still felt equal. It hasn't felt like I'm footing the bill all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I think I still like a balance. I don't want somebody like mooching off me, but yeah, I totally agree. It feels like a little less competitive.
I agree with you about the money thing, but I think that you can run into those same money issues no matter what age gap there is. Yeah, it's going to be more traditional if you're 10 years older than him. But, you know, I've dated people that are the same age as me that make way less money than me. And we've done episodes about how to just talk to your partner about like, hey, I feel taken advantage of. And like that guy I dated last summer who was so much younger than me, like I just wasn't in situations with him where like I felt like I had to foot the bill. I wasn't asking me to go to like per se, you know, like we did some cheaper stuff and he always could pay. And he had the kind of career path that I was like, well, this person will always make money and like move up and will always be able to contribute in a way that doesn't feel like I'm being taken advantage of.
100%. You and I are both on the same page with that. Like we're not like plucking young guys off the streets and be like, come with mama. Like it's guys that like have their shit together in some way. And also like, it's really about what you want out of a partner. I can take care of myself. I'm really independent. I don't need a partner that needs to take care of me. I think we know this. And again, it hasn't always been like that. I felt a little bit differently at 27. I wanted a guy that like had more money, had like more of a caretaker. I thought I like wanted to get married and kind of live a little bit different life at that point. But so if I don't need that. So I'm not vetting guys for their ability to take care of me. I need them to be able to take care of themselves, be self-sufficient and stable and independent. But whereas some women may be looking for a guy that's going to make a great provider, that's just not what I'm looking for. So that's why it's so easy for me to just like run around and fuck young dudes.
Well, I also think as you get... I think that that's an amazing point. As you get older, you need different things. I think when I was a little bit younger, like my boyfriend, when I was 23, we can talk about him a little later, but I was really looking for more of like a mentor type of situation where somebody could really like teach me and guide me. And like, you know, I could really look up to them. And of course I only want to date people I can look up to, but I really at that point was probably looking for somebody that had been there, done that, because I needed guidance and I wasn't going to date somebody younger than me at that point. But I mean, at all ages you could take guidance, but at this age, I don't know that I need professional guidance from somebody like I would have wanted 10 years ago.
Right.
So I don't need it. And I'm with you. Like the things I'm looking for is just somebody that like makes me laugh, that's funny, that's interested in the same shit that I'm interested in. And so for me, age and money is not as big of a factor.
Yeah.
If somebody made next to no money, I don't know that I'd care.
Yeah. And I mean, just to wrap up the young guy thing, older women, younger guy thing. Again, you can go back and listen to our episode. I think there's still some helpful advice in there. Try to power through that audio. But if you want kids, you got to think about this. If you just want to have fun, you want to fuck around, fine. But like if you are in your 30s and you are going a lot younger and that's what you prefer, just keep it in mind and have those conversations. And like, once you get to a point where you feel like you're on the road to a serious relationship commitment, fucking have the talk. You could freeze your eggs. I mean, there's options, but like if you are dead set on having a kid and you're a 35-year-old woman and you're dating somebody that's 25, 26, 27, like don't let yourself get down a path where it blows up and you're devastated because this person wasn't even close to wanting that.
Right. And you didn't want to be the older, quote unquote, unattractive in their 30s that's asking this guy about kids. You got to ask. You got to talk about it.
Don't let someone make you feel like that. Myth. Women in their, you want kids in your 30s. It's what you got to think about it.
Absolutely. And conversely, like we've talked about this before, if you don't want kids, I don't think it's fair to like lead somebody down a path that you might someday. And so like you got to get that conversation out of the way too, you know, because before somebody who's super young falls crazy in love with you and you're like, oh, I don't want this.
100%. I don't know if I've said it on this podcast. I've said it to my friends and in conversations. Like if I start going down a path of a serious relationship with somebody, I want them to know I'm not having children. And like, I think it can be a really heartbreaking conversation, but like it will need to end. Like there's no like, I'm changing my mind about it. Yes. Again, we're going to do a whole episode on this. Like, I think some people can be a little wishy-washy. Like my mom always says my dad said he didn't want to have kids. And she was like, I'm sure, you know, like we'll see about that. But like, again, that was a man. He's not the one having to carry them. You know, it can feel a little different, but like, there's no like, I don't think so, but maybe there's none of that about it. Cause people that waver end up having kids all the time, but the staunch, I don't want this. It's whenever I can sneak it in, if I'm like past a third date with somebody, I do.
And you're pretty serious about it. And I like that you're like that. I am a waverer, you know, like I'm like, if I fell in love with somebody so deeply, I could be maybe swayed. You are very staunch about like, I am not doing this. And I think that's important. I think you have to say it without wavering too. It's like, don't go down this road with me and think I'm going to change because I'm not.
Right. Okay. And one last thing, I feel like people run into this with, they have fallen for a guy that's younger and they're like not ready because they're young. You know what I mean? Like not everybody that's late 20s or whatever is like ready to commit. And I think it can be even frustrating for someone that falls for somebody older at that age and they're like, well, shit, this is the person, but like, I'm just still not wanting to like settle down. I think you just have to ask yourself, is it that they're just like flaky and non-committal, or is it that they're committed to you, they want to be with you and they're just not ready, in which case you might need to wait a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not saying wait forever. You have to set your boundaries and decide what's right for you. But I think it's that question of like, is this just a kid that's a flake and they're non-committal and you just think they're fun? Like ultimately ask yourself, what are you getting out of the relationship? Like, is this just like, it's the sex is good, they're fun, they make you feel young again, the yada, yada, yada. But like, or is it that you really love this person and they're just not fully ready to like settle down and start the next phase of their life, which is totally understandable.
Mm-hmm. And you can give people a little bit of leeway also and just understand that like, and you and I have talked about this, you know, if there's a 25-year-old guy that's dating a 35-year-old woman, you need to understand he's a decade less experienced dating than you do and is probably used to dating girls that are 21, 22, and he doesn't know how to date somebody that age either. So yeah. I do think that like you can give people leeway and teach them and how, if you want to do that. But if you meet somebody that's really great and has all these great qualities, like it's okay to be like, I'm a little frustrated because like, but at the same time, like this person is 10 years younger than you. You can give them a little leeway.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Dating older guys.
And
no experience. That is disgusting.
She's like, this is a safe space where we have nothing bad to say.
I told Rayna, I was like, I'm not fucking a 50-year-old when I'm 50. I'm not fucking.
She will never fuck a person over 49 ever in her life.
I'm not fucking a 50-year-old when I'm 70. Yeah, I'm going to be like, you're too old. That's gross.
I'm going to be like, that's gross.
Like, am I going to find older men attractive as I get older? Is this a curse?
Are you going to always
is this like my curse to bear? Like I can see an attractive man that's a silver fox. Like I can see attractive older men, but I don't want to fuck them. So when I'm 50, will I find that 50-year-old man? Like it's got to change, right? I can't live like this.
I don't know. Madonna seems to be doing it, right?
I know.
Like we'll just be on the road. We'll be old and decrepit. And you'll be like fucking like the roadies we bring with us.
Well, sometimes some people will like, they've wrote this on my Instagram comments or they'll DM me and it's so flattering when I like do something that shows how flexible I am. Like if I do high kicks or I like throw my leg up or like do whatever. And I've had girls be like, this is how you fuck guys that are 10 years younger than you. I'm like, yeah, that's how I do it.
Well, it depends on what you like. Do you like the youth? Do you like the instability? Do you
like to suck the youth out of them?
Through their penis.
Yeah, through that young dude.
I feel like the disparity will widen between you in your 30s and somebody in their 20s. Like, I feel like at 45, you're going to feel like you'll feel the same about a 35-year-old. I don't.
100%. I would date a 35-year-old. Like, yeah, I'm talking about guys that are like late 40s, 50s. I'm not finding them attractive now.
I think that you will. I think that I think 20s specifically are this exploratory time in your life. And I think that like you are figuring out like who you are, what you want to do for a living, how much money you're going to make, where you're going to live. You're making all these like long-term decisions. I'm not saying that your 30s aren't exploratory, but like not the way your 20s are. So like I think a 5-year age gap in your 20s can be so big and like wide, but you get to your 30s and it's just not the same. Like I could date somebody 10 years older than me. My life isn't that different than theirs.
Yeah.
But I date somebody 10 years younger than me and my life is really different than theirs.
Well, and I love that you brought that up because we meant to talk about that. And that is where you are in your life. I was such a different person at 23 and 28. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I can't even compare those two girls.
Yes.
Or 22 and 25. You know what I mean? And that's 3 years. So it's like, and this is not everybody's experience. For me personally, like really before I turned 27, I was like kind of just a mess. You know what I mean? Like I was moving ahead in life and I was getting to where I needed to be. I went on my own and career-wise at 27, but I'm just saying like the partying, like the irresponsible behavior, things like that. So it's like, I dated guys at 27, 28 that were 25 that like thought I was too much of like a party girl. Like they were more mature than me.
Mm-hmm. But I think your 20s is like the time for that. Yeah. I think the disparity is so wide between the differences of your life. So I think that something like 5 years is really different when we're talking about 22 to 27 versus 32 to 37. In different decades of your life, 5 years is a really different age difference.
Yeah, like it kind of turns into this thing of like once you get into your 30s, you're just like in your 30s. You know, I mean, yeah, a little bit different between being like 31 and 39, but not so much as opposed to like 21 and 29 or 22 and 28, or, you know, once you're over 40, you're all in your 40s. Like, it's just kind of like the older you get, the less the gaps matter.
When I was 22, 23, 24, somebody who was 30 was so old to me.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that now about people that are 40.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like it needs to be said that the whole thing of me dating these younger guys is like, it's just kind of turned into this like coincidence type of a thing. Like, I just realized it and it was like a funny thing that was happening. And I feel like they were always guys that were like, sought me out. Like, I really would actually prefer somebody over 30. Like, I want them to have like young energy. I said this earlier, but like, even when I've met these guys, when I met them in the wild and they are 26 or 27, they're 28, I'm like kind of low key wishing they were 32, 33. Like, I don't really, we say this about men in their mid 30s and up that have like been single for too long. And we talked on that before. And I don't want a guy that's a fuckboy at any age, but it's kind of like, yeah, ultimately I would like somebody that is a little closer to my age.
Yeah, I just think I know you really well. And I think it depends what you are looking for in a partner and how fulfilled you want to be in certain ways. You know, do you want somebody who can teach you things about the world that's sort of been there or at least close to being there, dunning that? You know, you're not going to get that from somebody 10 years younger than you. You're just not. That's not like an unfair thing to say. It's just like you are 10 years older than them.
Yeah.
So it depends like what you want. I don't think that you necessarily need somebody to like teach you things, but it'd be nice to have an equal.
Yeah. So, and we'll see. I mean, I'm not, also, it could happen. You never know. Like, you know, everybody's just so different. But yeah, I think like it becomes even easier to do the age differences once you kind of hit that 30 threshold even, you know what I mean?
I totally agree.
Like, and then even into 40s and past that, it's just a fucking free for all. There's no such thing as age gaps.
I totally agree.
Well, I still want to talk about somebody that you brought up, that the age between the 20s and the 30s became sort of a point of contention between them.
Yeah. So a good friend of mine is 34 and he was dating a 26-year-old and he was going to look at townhouses to buy. He's an established lawyer. And she said to him, it's like, it freaks me out. It's upsetting to me basically to like be brought along to like see these townhouses. And he was like, I don't know what her problem is. I'm not asking her to move in. And I was like, but you understand like a 26-year-old is looking at a 34-year-old man and is like, he's established, he's money, he's buying a home. And that you're like, I'm nowhere near this. Like, she's not, he was like, it's just 8 years. And I was like, but you're a totally different person
stage of life, yeah.
than she is. And she wants to go out and party and fuck around and sleep with tons more people and figure out who she is. And that's a super normal thing for a 26-year-old. That's what I wanted to do. And when I was 26, somebody that was 34 was like old to me.
Gross. I would never. However,
thank you.
We have plenty of women that message us and responded to our Instagram story slide about that exact thing and how much they love it. And I think that's great. And like, you're a mature 26, 27-year-old woman, 25, even, I don't know what, however, you got your shit together. You have a career. You just are done fucking around with these 20 something guys. And you want an older, mature man that is buying the house and is doing the things. Like, yeah, it's going to work out for you. That's going to be great for you.
Oh yeah. I think probably the most common age difference between all these is, you know, a woman that's 10 years younger than her man. I think that's pretty common. And I think that's like a really nice, desirable thing. Like, you meet the been there, done that guy, and he can mentor you and he can help you and he is more established. Listen, guys are all the same, okay, at every age. Yeah. They're just the same. As they get older, they're all children. They just get better wardrobes and more money and like better hobbies as they get older, but they're the same.
They get a little less malleable though. You know what I mean? Like, you hear that a lot. Like, men's like later in their 30s, once they hit that 40-ish area, like they can be set in their ways. They can be, this is how it's done. This is how I do things. Like, they aren't so go with the flow, free flowing, willing to change their habits and their living space and all those type of things. Again, not always, but like,
my dad is a nightmare. My dad is like, this is the time I go to work. This is the time I go to the gym. This is when I eat. He is a nightmare. And he's like, my wife just lets me.
They can just be a little rigid. Yeah. And I will not date someone that's rigid no matter what age they are. So that's just me.
I agree. I mean, I think that's a good point. But I think a lot of people, it's like a beautiful thing if you can find somebody that's a little older than you can be sort of like a mentor to you, as long as we don't slip into the scenario that we were talking about earlier, which is like, I'm offline before we started recording this podcast. We have conversations sometimes. You don't want to, I think the danger is you don't want to be with somebody that makes you feel like stupid and small and inexperienced because you are inexperienced, and makes you feel bad about that, because that's a weird abusive like road to go down.
Yeah, I mean, let's be straight up honest. Some men want younger women because they think that they're dumber and they can manipulate them more and they can fuck around more, and it's a real thing. So know that it is, be on the lookout for it. If you start to feel like that this older man is gaslighting you, he's making you feel not validated or feel stupid, or he's talking to you in a condescending tone, like, be on the lookout. Kate Nichols talked about it on her episode with her a month or two ago, of just like, that guy wasn't even that much older, but he was older and she was really young, and that she saw that happening. So you can listen back to that and watch out for those warning signs. But like, that's a real thing that happens. And if people are like warning you and they don't like that you're dating they don't like that you're dating someone so much older, like your family or your close friends, like it's probably just because they love you and they care about you and they can look at it from the outside. So like, it's something that you probably will have to deal with. Like, your dad or your mom or your close friend doesn't like that you're dating this man that's 14, 15 years older. Like, it's just because they care and they may see some things that you don't. So take it in stride. I think it's less about like judgment and shaming you. It's more of just like, hey, be careful here, because situations like this can be bad.
I want to come back to how to manage people, and like, because everybody has a fucking opinion, especially when there's age gaps, everyone weighs in. But I want to go back to something you said, which is like, just be aware of it, and like men that prey on young women. And we talked about this on our gaslighting episode, because like, I remember I was like 22 and I was dating somebody that gaslit me. He was tremendously emotionally abusive, but I could never have named the behavior when I was like 22, 23. I didn't know that's what he was doing to me. And he would say things to me like, we'll talk about this when you calm down, when you stop making yourself so upset.
Yeah.
I wasn't old enough to understand the behavior, and because I couldn't name it, I couldn't combat it. I just, at this age, I would never put up with this bullshit. But at that age, I didn't know. And I think that I'm glad you said like, be on the lookout for it, because like, sometimes you're like, this doesn't feel good and I don't know why. And it's like, because they're preying on you because you're young.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling like, well, I can't make any decisions without him. And I can't like, I like couldn't apply for jobs without him. I couldn't even like pick a dinner spot, because I felt like he just knew better, and he continually reminded me that he knew better.
Yeah.
And he was only 5 years older. So, but I was 22. So you are like so young in those scenarios. And I was dating this man who lived in New York City for 5 years.
Right.
So yeah, I like that you said to be on the lookout for it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think of somebody like Corey, my best girlfriend, who actually married a guy that is like a year younger than her, which is kind of funny because she was such an adult so early, like she went to undergrad, then she owned a home, owned her car, had a graduate degree by like 25, same as my brother, just like really hit it hard and was like a full adult by 25. And we were still out partying and like getting drunk and all that for years to come, but like really just always gravitated towards older men because she pretty much had her shit together, and ended up marrying somebody that like had a child. He was a grown up, and like had his career together and all those kind of things. But I think of somebody like her that she never would have fucked around with these like young guys that were just, she wanted somebody that had their shit together. And she felt like that from 25 on. And I mean, again, she married somebody that wasn't older, but I still could have seen her like at 25, very easily dating a man that was 35, 40 years old.
It is an attractive thing to be with a person that is successful, that you can look up to, that can help you. And I keep saying like the mentor-mentee dynamic, but also 25 is different than 22. 25, you're a little bit older. And I don't know that it's like so crazy to date a 40-year-old, but yeah, people will always have opinions about what you do, and everybody's going to like levy it. And I have a girlfriend who is dating somebody who's at least 20 years older than her, if not like 25 years older. And I checked in with her and I was like, what has this been like for you? Because like, he looks like her father.
Her dad, yeah.
Like she's 30 and he's like 55 and he's great. He's so awesome. But she said to me about how to manage this internally and mentally. And I want to read you what she said, because I like copied this paragraph she sent me. I texted her and I was like, can I use what you're saying? And I think it was like a big adjustment, because it would be a big adjustment for anybody to date. So that's a crazy age gap. He has adult children.
Right.
She said, the greatest lesson I've learned in the world the greatest lesson I've learned is that the world cares so much less than you think. I used to wonder what strangers thought of us at a restaurant, a bar, walking down the street, but it just takes a moment. A bartender showing you kindness and hospitality like any other couple and not making you feel like you're on a date with your dad, or your actual dad recognizing that you're in love with a person who may not be older than him, and it actually doesn't matter. Happiness and waking up every day feeling like you are exactly where you want to be is internal, and all of the external forces that make you uncertain will eventually get on board or fade faster than your much older partner.
Right.
I
love that.
I have like chills like reading it. Yeah. I'm just like, I know that was like a scary thing for her to date somebody so much older than her, because it does look like she's walking down the street with her dad. And it's like, who cares? And I also love this notion of like, no one cares as much as you think they do.
Right.
Strangers. Your family, I think, will have something to say, and yes, they do care. But it's like at the end of the day, and I asked my uncle and aunt too, and I said to my aunt, like, did people like make comments that you were like dating this like 24-year-old guy? And she was like, they just got over it.
Right. They'll just get over it. And if they see that you're happy, they'll just get over it. And if they don't, that's their problem.
Totally. Yeah.
One piece of advice, though, I do have to say is like, just always with anything, when it's ever like a kind of you and your partner against the world, or kind of like an against all odds thing, don't stay in a relationship for that reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't stay in it to prove it. Like, always do the gut check. Like, I think sometimes people get wrapped up in that, where they're like, fuck, we proved everybody wrong. People had stuff to say, you know, we really fought against all odds to make this work. And now the relationship is cracking and you don't want to break up because you like put so much work and effort into it. And it's like, just don't do that. You know what I mean? I think sometimes with huge age gaps or any type of relationship, like it can be a thing of like, you are just staying in it to prove to yourself, to prove to your family, to prove to your friends, to prove to the world that you could make it work when it actually shouldn't. So always make sure you're doing those gut checks and like checking in on the relationship of where it stands to make sure. Like, and I think sometimes with relationships like this, like different disparities and whatever it may be, like you hear somebody, they break up and you hear them say like, well, it was doomed from the start. And it's like, was it? Were you ignoring stuff that was there? You know what I mean? Like, why'd you say that? I would never say that. If you feel like that about a relationship early on, like really dig into why. You know what I mean? Like, was this doomed to fail? Then why'd you continue with it? You know?
I just don't think an age gap makes you doomed to fail. I mean, I think there's a million reasons why you break up with people. The age gap doesn't have to. I think it's kind of cool to be with an older guy that can like show you shit and pay for stuff. It sounds great. I mean, I would love to live where she's living with him. It looks great. I just think that it could be really nice. I think the only problem that can come up, I mean, a lot of problems can come up, is socializing. And I think it might be a little odd sometimes if you are 10 years older than your man and his friends are just these like crazy party kids and you're like, I can't get down with this. Or conversely, your man's 15, 20 years older and all of their friends have babies and houses. And you're like, I'm so far outside of this. And it's like, I don't know. Is that person more important to you than those social situations? They probably are. You just grit your teeth and you go through it, or you don't participate in them. Like if your man is 10 years younger than you and he wants to go to some like frat party bar and you don't like that, don't go.
Or ask yourself, are you guys a match? And you're in your totally different life stages. Because I have a good girlfriend who, you know, who's 25, I think. Her boyfriend is 42. And she's just really mature. She has her shit together. A lot of her friends, even outside of him, are in their 30s. She really meshes into her 42-year-old boyfriend's life and has become very close with his friends at our kid. Like she just works. So she is not out getting drunk with her. And she has friends here from college too. But like her lifestyle is that of somebody that is a little older. So like if there's a 40-something person and they hang out with all friends that have kids and houses and all the things, and they're dating this like 20-something that's just running around partying, like what is even going on here? Like you don't really have the same interest in life. Like what I am a little skeptical. You know what I
mean? 100%. But I think that like this can be just like an interest thing too. Like I'm in my mid-30s. It's not that crazy that all of my friends have houses and kids. And so I don't particularly love it. I'm not going on vacation with my friends that are married with kids. That's the stage of life that I'm not in. I could do it. I'll be around it. It's not my choice. So I understand that some people like...
and we're that age.
Right. I'm saying I'm that age. So it doesn't always have to do with like the specific age. Maybe it's just a different stage of life that you're in. And if that's not the stage of life you're in, then don't what are you doing here?
Right.
And if your partner is in a vastly different stage of life, check yourself and be like, is this going to be okay?
Right.
Long term.
Yeah, that's totally it. Like, cause I am somewhere caught in the middle. Like, I don't go out and get drunk and party so hard, and I would never date a guy that did. It just wouldn't work for me. Some like party animal, but I also don't really want the guy that's like all his friends have kids and that which is, it's weird.
It's not my vacation
because I'm more
pick.
of that. Obviously we're more of that age, but yeah, it's like, it's so much about like the type of life you're living. Like I dated a guy earlier this year that was 10 years younger and we got along great. We both did comedy. Like we had common interests. He didn't drink that. We drank the same, you know what I mean? Like we would have a couple drinks. He wasn't out getting wasted. He had that stage in his life already. So had I, like things kind of matched up, and sexually they did too.
Like you looked at the ground when you said that. I just think overall, like whatever age you choose, like, yeah, I want somebody that's in a similar age, like stage of life as me. I want somebody that has the same values as me. Do they want the same stuff? Can I grow with them? I don't give a fuck if somebody judges me for anything. I'll date somebody 20 years older than me or 10 years younger. I don't give a shit what you think about whose dick I'm sucking behind closed doors. Shut up.
Yeah. And if you see a pattern that you are curious about, go to therapy. If you are a early 20s girl, whatever, I'm just going to use this as an example. You're in your 20s, you are only looking at men in their 40s, 50s, whatever, and that's all you're attracted to. First of all, fine. Second of all, maybe talk to a therapist about it if you find it to be a little strange. You know what I mean? If also conversely with me, again, like I'm not exclusively dating guys in their 20s. Like if I was out here like, I'm only fucking 25-year-olds, I would seek therapy. You know what I mean? Like if anything is so you only like this one thing and it's kind of outside the realm of quote unquote normal and you want to explore it, talk to somebody about it.
Yeah. And if you feel bad about it, if you're like, I'm constantly like dating these people and I don't feel good about it. Like I can see a pattern where you only date younger people because you are avoiding real, quote unquote, real life situations where you'd have to have like a really serious, intimate relationship with somebody because it's easier to write off a 25-year-old that's 10 years younger than you. Or if you're constantly seeking out people that are older than you and they're making you feel bad about yourself. Or of course there's a thing of if you lost your father, you didn't have a father around, like you were searching for a father figure, like tap into it. It doesn't hurt to analyze your behavior and go to therapy anyway. We've all done it, therapy can benefit anyone. So, but I can't stress enough that there is no judgment on any of this. People that judge you for things like this have their own issues and they are insecure in their own life choices. Like people that are living their best life are not judging you. If people that are going to shame you for any of these types of things are just projecting, and just always remember that and always like live your truth. And I cannot stress enough that we got hundreds and hundreds of responses from you listeners of everything under the sun, of age differences, of a woman being 20 years older, 20 years younger, 10 years, like all the things. And it's like, it works out for all these various reasons. Like there is no formula at all for any relationships. And also, by the way, to piggyback, when somebody is saying something to you because they love you and they mention it once and it's like a warning shot versus somebody that's judging you and like just saying shit. And honestly, like fuck those people. I'm sorry. Like that comes from like a weird internal insecurity and don't listen to that.
Yeah. And family too. It's weird for fathers, I assume, if their daughter is dating someone that's close to their age, it's, I don't know. Might feel a little weird going to meet my man's family for the first time and I'm a full decade older than him. It's just like, I might take a little heat from the mom. I'm going to prepare for it. Like she might throw a little shade my way if she thinks that's weird. I think you just have to like buck up and it'll only make you stronger if you have to face any adversity with stuff like this.
Yep. And I think you walk into every situation with confidence. This is what I'm doing. This is what makes me happy. Yeah. This is my decision. It's a good thing for me. It's positive. I appreciate your input. We're done here now.
I love it.
Live your lives, guys. Just feel good.
Yeah. Live your truth always. And then one more thing, just wanted to throw in about dating men late 30s, 40s plus. Like physically, scientifically, their sex drive diminishes over time. Not everybody, We know some of you guys, like so many people send us messages of their like man that's a lot older can fuck and eat pussy. Great. Of course. It's not that they can't fuck. It's just like, I like to say it to let women know that this is a thing that happens and not to take it personally, I guess is what I'm saying. And also just something to consider.
I mean, I think it's common rhetoric that like women have a sexual prime and so do men, and those ages don't always match up.
Right.
And I like what you said, that it's not personal. If somebody's just, they're tired of fucking. They've been fucking for decades. They're tired.
But just like biology, physiology, whatever it's called, like, you know, I have girlfriends that have husbands, boyfriends that are a little bit older, and it's like they hit 40 and they just aren't as sexually charged. Some of them, I mean, there's things that can be done, testosterone, Viagra, all the things, you know, but they had a hump in their relationship, no pun intended, that they felt like they wanted sex more because they're in their 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, and they're dating a man that's in his 40s. And it does, a lot of times they start to slow and you aren't as matched anymore in terms of how much you want sex, how long you can perform, how your stamina, all that kind of thing. So I say it literally just to give you a heads up if you're a woman that doesn't really know.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Ashley and I are doctors, but also, you know, just Google it.
Also, why don't you share your experience fucking that old guy? He couldn't keep up.
No, he was like 10 years older than me. Yeah. I mean, in the beginning of a relationship, like I'll fuck 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in a bed with you or near a bed with you, like I will fuck all day. I never stop. And like, it has to be an option to like do it a couple times for me. And he barely got through the first time once a week.
Yeah. So something just to keep in mind, again, your men that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and you guys are fucking all the time and they're eating you out every week. Great. It's just a heads up from your favorite doctors. Louisa, how much older is Chris than you?
10 years.
Louisa just walked in. She is in a relationship with somebody that's 10 years older.
Do you find it enjoyable?
Do you have any tips?
Like on tips in what sense? Like how to not have him die first? Like,
No. We were talking about age differences and like, you know, the good things that can come from dating somebody a little bit older than you. And do you enjoy certain things about it or tips for making it work?
yeah, I would say that because
We are really putting her on the spot.
Oh, hey. I guess I would say that because he's older, I appreciated that I didn't have to put up with like a lot of like head games and bullshit. I mean, you know that like it wasn't like the smoothest of starts, but like there weren't exactly head games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even if there were like some bumps in the road, it was like what you see is what you get with it. So that was good. I think when I walked in, I heard you saying something about meeting the parents. That was a little weird.
For you?
Just like in my own head. Because I was like hyper aware of how I felt young.
Because you were like in your 20s.
Yeah, I guess I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Still when I met his parents.
You were. Yeah. You totally were. Because I remember,
So anyway, but also he, you know, had a little more experience under his belt.
Yeah, in the bedroom.
It's always good. I mean, I'll never like say no to that.
And he like owns a home. Like he's an adult.
Yeah, he's an adult.
Yeah.
For sure. That was nice. Oh yeah. Like there were no like beer bottles like for decoration.
Yeah.
You know, or like, I don't know, Maxim posters, like with just stupid stuff. No, he was like an adult, which was nice.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing your truth.
I don't know if you know this. We talk about you every week. So
You always come up.
people know about you.
We talked about the kitten. How's your kitten? Do you want to give a kitten update?
Hey again, guys. So Kiko the kitten is doing great. She is super sweet and cuddly and adorable, but also a crazy maniac with that kitten energy.
Yeah.
Like
Big kitten energy.
Big kitten energy.
Well, thanks for the update.
And thank you. And I actually, you provided some really great insight because I've never dated somebody 10 years older. So you provided some good insight that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So they fuck well and they have more money.
yes. That is the money thing too.
Weez is like the money. I love the money.
And you're mature. So like even when we were running around partying and stuff, like you were never this like insane 20-something, like, you know, falling asleep in a bush, like not knowing what you're doing with your life. You always had a secure job. You know, you were always on like a solid path.
You could be 15 years younger than a man. You're just as mature as that man.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, everyone thinks so.
Well, and people say that men mature later.
Yeah.
Which is just like, what am I doing? People are like, it really works out because men mature later than women. I'm like, so I'm dating guys that are what, 15 years younger?
What's important is that they can eat pussy. And I will say, the oldest person I dated could not. And the youngest person I dated, I had to fight him out of there with both fists. So I don't know. That sort of debunks what you said. Whatever. You know what? Just make sure you're getting your pussy eat good.
Yep. And your butt. All right. Well, thank you to Louisa for popping in. We're about to go to dinner, so that's why she's here.
She didn't know. She didn't know that she's been on the podcast every week for months now.
Yeah. We actually recorded with her one time. We sneak attacked her in Dewey and we had to cut it. It was personal sexual information. Salacious. Good word.
Just know she's a hot one.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do this segment where we asked you guys what are comments or things that your partner has done that has really shown your age gap, that has really demonstrated the gap between you, whether you're younger, whether most of these were that they were older. Most of these were an older man and they were offensive to me.
I am so shamed. Most of them was like, these girls are like, he asked me what a phone book was. I'm like, bitch, I grew up with that my whole life.
I know. Like a lot of them were like really kind of like taking a bullet because they basically were you little 20 something bitches that are dating men our age and you're like, he's so old.
Guys, I suggested doing this game and Ashley's like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I liked it until I read the answers. Okay, so let me just come out of the gate with the first one. He wanted to spend an evening looking at houses in Portland just for fun. Me and Rayna went and looked at houses 2 weekends ago.
Literally, we took a weekend vacation to look at houses, and it was an awesome weekend.
That weekend was amazing.
Also, imagine if we took that vacation and neither of us was footing the bill. Bitch, that sounds amazing. He just took you to shop
look
for
at houses. So much fun. Yeah, and sorry, maybe you just don't like real estate and you never will, girl. Some people have a passion for real estate at any age.
I'll let him buy me a house. You kick him my way.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like, I wonder if this is real, but it probably is. Keeps a list of current lingo in the back of his work notebook in order to seem young.
That is, like, I feel cringy about it.
I can see it's like a guy who works in a marketing agency around a lot of young kiddos, and he's like 40 and he writes, we had a lot of people submit stuff that was like, he doesn't know what like sus means or like sesh or like I stand this, and I like was like Googling half the words.
Okay. Again, contrary to popular belief, I'm not out on the hunt for these 20-something dudes. I don't want my man really to ever say stan or maybe not even know what it means. Like, I'm a little old for that. I rarely say it. That is younger. That's Gen Z, kind of.
Are men out here saying like, I stan this couple?
True. Like, I would find it hot if my man did not know what it meant to stan.
Yes, me too.
But he knows Stan from the Eminem song, and he downloaded that shit on Napster, and we would come home from school and download Stan, the song. That's where it comes from, you little bitches. We know the original Stan.
If my man was like, you know how I used to have to watch porn line by line, loading on the computer as the dial-up came through, that's what turns me on.
Porn for people our age was like your parents had Cinemax and you would watch it all jumbled up and try to catch a titty.
Oh my God, do you remember that? Wait, but do you remember
Cinemax?
Do you remember when the lines would populate? You'd like see half a tit and then you get one more line of the tit, one more line.
It was like scrambled. Oh my gosh. I hate this game. Okay.
You can do this next one. It's my favorite of all the ones we got.
You better believe I'm about to sing the song from the commercial. He eats Mentos candy. I'm sorry, but what the fuck? That's dad candy. Girl, those commercials and the Foo Fighters video were fire. I'll sing it right now. Mentos freshness, Mentos flavor. And it was like Dave Grohl. And then Dave Grohl was like, yeah.
Mentos, the fresh maker.
Yes, go off.
This, I feel it, had to teach me how to address an envelope for our wedding invites.
Oh my
Never used real mail before, only email.
Never addressed an envelope. You say envelope, I say envelope. Interesting.
I sent him a nude and he told me I have a nice keister. Did you send it to your grandpa?
No.
You sent your grandpa nudes.
That's an insane word.
It's insane.
Like, that's not even like tush.
It's like, isn't it Yiddish? It's like Yiddish for butt.
It's, I think, a Home Alone. Get your no good, filthy, whatever keister off my property.
Also, that was my childhood. Probably none of you know what that is.
Please stop sending me Home Alone memes. I've seen them all. Okay. I was seeing a 50-year-old. I'm 23, and he called my boobs breasts during sex and dirty talk. He's just being respectful.
My mom calls my boobs breasts too.
Your mom during dirty talk.
When she texts me,
Your mom texts
my mom's like, "How those breasts doing?" He voted for Obama both times.
Like,
is it that crazy to have been 18 in 2008?
Yeah, I guess this is just like a young 20-something. I mean, I'm offended.
That just makes you 30. Right? Being able to vote for Barack Obama in 2008.
Yeah.
That's not that old.
Right.
Wow. This girl's probably like 15.
Offended.
She's like, that's gross.
He voted for Obama. It's not like he voted for Ronald
Nixon.
Reagan. He voted for Reagan, Bush, 84 or whatever. Okay. This one is wild. He takes printed out MapQuest directions on trips. No, this guy, he's not evolving with the times.
Yeah, it's weird to me because, like, yeah, I took MapQuest directions when we looked at colleges with my dad when I was little, but like, my dad doesn't print out MapQuest and he's 73.
No, you don't need to. And it's also like, I don't even think it's like that safe to be like looking down at printouts.
Also, can you just have him like get a GPS built into the car like every person on Earth?
Your phone.
Yeah, plug it in.
I don't have a GPS in the Xterra. I have my phone. Okay, next one. He asked me what a top 8 was. So he's younger or he's older. Could be either. Basically, that's MySpace. If you guys don't know, millennials know. So he's either so old or so young that he didn't know.
That's a great call. Because I could see anybody outside of the millennial generation having no idea what that means.
That was specifically for us.
That is a great call. Okay. His high school yearbook was from the year I was born. Okay.
He still gets card statements mailed to him and highlights the charges. Come on, man.
You fucking your grandpa?
Yeah.
I hooked up with a guy in his car. I climbed into the front when he was done and he couldn't do that. Like, he couldn't physically get in the front. Like, he's not physically fit enough to climb in. Also, you're saying he's so old he can't physically climb in the front, but he doesn't have a home you guys could go fucking.
But also, like, did they have like a 2-door? Like, I would just open the back door and go back in the front. Why are you climbing up?
That's true.
It must. Maybe did they have a little sports car?
Listen, I'm 2 feet tall. You don't understand.
I would
this.
open the back door and get up in the front.
Because you're a normally sized person, but I'm like a little small.
I feel
monkey.
like you were about to say enormous.
No.
No. Okay. He signs every text with his name at the end. Stop it. That is dad territory only. How old is he?
How old do you have to be to do stuff like that? My dad's sister does that when she texts me, my aunt. And she's in her 60s.
Baby boomer.
Yeah, she's a boomer. 100 years.
I feel like we're boomers with this.
He had a .edu email when Facebook started.
Yeah, fucking same.
Yeah, so did I. That's called, I was at the forefront of technology and I didn't ruin my whole life growing up with social media, okay? I gotta just be ugly and not know how ugly I was. That's what it's like not having social media in high school.
Also, there's people that they hate us, hate me. And they're like, Ashley's so hypocritical. All she did was talk shit on old people the whole time. And then at the end, she got so offended when people were calling her old. Yeah, it's called jokes. I don't care. Okay. Oh, the ton of these.
So many.
He thought meme was pronounced Mimi.
Tons. At what age do you think that starts? 45?
Yeah, that's what age is to these.
I laughed so hard when I read this. He has a vivid memory of OJ fleeing in the Bronco.
I mean, honestly, though,
I might be too young for that.
I remember. I was a pretty young kid, but I remember the moment because it was such a big moment. I think my parents had friends over and it was like everybody was just like crowded around the TV. Like, to be able to watch a high-speed chase in real time like that was fucking nuts. Like, if you've watched the OJ documentaries, like, I mean, it was crazy to live it.
It was crazy to live it. And I remember, do you remember, are you old enough to remember this? every morning I got driven to school by my mom, and I remember listening to the trial in the car every day on the way to school. Do you remember that?
I remember some of that. And then I also remember the craziest thing shortly after it happened on July 9th. And I remember walking by the TV on my birthday. And they were like, today's OJ's birthday. And that's when I realized OJ and I had the same birthday. And then now it is a murder birthday. We've talked about this. It's also just Stephen Avery, Jodi Arias, some other murderer, OJ. It's a super murder birthday.
It's Jodi Arias or somebody else.
Yeah, I forget. We'll find out. The fourth one. Don't DM us. Okay, we'll finish with one more. He wears sneakers with white tube socks pulled all the way up. So this is funny because this goes either way, because this is like a trend now. Like stuff's coming back, and so guys.
Like the kids you date
for a minute, we're like doing high socks. Maybe some of them still are, but it's like, is he wearing like old school New Balances with like white tube socks, or is he like a skater kid?
I'm thinking dad. Oh, I see. It's a skater thing. Okay, I'm thinking just like dad.
Guys, I see those hot dudes on TikTok with the high socks. Like high socks came back.
I'm thinking for like New Balance snakes. Dad. Yeah. I don't think she would mention it if it wasn't.
No, he's wearing like old. Yeah, he's probably wearing like a nice denim cargo short too.
What age do you clock him at?
47.
Okay, I was thinking 53. A lot of fashion stuff, a lot of music stuff, a lot of music.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was fun. Thank you to all you guys.
Was it though?
Who are our age? I hope it was a nice trip down memory lane to MySpace and
OJ.
The OJ Bronco. That was
all right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, live your truth, and catch us in Ohio. Catch us on tour. Catch us inside, distanced, but we will be in Cleveland and Columbus and Cincinnati end of this month, early October, and you can grab those tickets at our website, girlsgottaeatpodcast.com. Our Instagram is Girls Gotta Eat Podcast as well. Ash Hess, Rayna.Greenberg, girls_gotta eat on Twitter, and youtube.com/Girls Gotta Eat.
That's it, guys. Have a good week.
We'll see you soon. Bye.